Welcome back to Starkiller Base. Today we have the round 4 featured match from our face-to-face games store championship. On the left we have Jason playing eUnkar FN First Order Stormtrooper, and on the right we have Shane playing FN Death Trooper. It looks like Jason brought Mos Eisley Spaceport to the table, and Shane brought the Rebel War Room, which you can see in the glare there. And we have somebody else we brought to the table actually. His name is Austin, and he's our co-commentator. He's from San Diego, and he likes to play Luke Maz. How you doing, Austin?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, good. Nice to be with you guys today.
All right, so it looks like we have Rebel War Room as the active battlefield, and Jason's putting a couple shields on FN there.
And looks like, wow, Vibroknife immediately rolled into the pool, immediately did a damage, and going right into eUnkar. That's the choice I would make, too. It's cool that he has the shields on 9s to try and just draw some of the fire, but I think the smart play is to go for eUnkar first.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough deck to decide who to hit first. I mean, you know, FN's gonna be the one with all of the upgrades on them, but Unkar's gonna be the one that's gonna be paying for them. And so, you know, like what my rule is, if I have a lot of upgrades that have 2 or less cost, and my opponent has Imperial Inspection out, like Jason just put out there, I try to kill Unkar first because it's just gonna destroy you, especially in a deck like FN Death Trooper, where you've got very little money because of the lack of resource sides on the Death Trooper dice.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see Imperial Inspection from the eUnkar deck because there's not many natural dice that have the Disrupt on there. I mean, the eUnkar brings it for sure, but it's not something that I would think of immediately. I'm sure it'll serve him well, but boy, it's really unfortunate. All those blanks from him, too. He can't even do the eUnkar ability.
Yeah, it looks like there's plenty to go around. One of the things that is brought to the eUnkar deck to have a little bit of a backup just in case eUnkar dies is the IQA, the Flamethrower, and the Gaffy Stick all have Disrupt sides. So sometimes you overwrite or leave those ones in instead of overwriting them, where you might normally overwrite them because you need the Disrupt side to mess with your opponent's resources and his upgrades.
Yeah, that does make sense. Wow, nice damage coming out from both Death Troopers too. You know, both 2 black sides.
Yeah, they're doing some work. Unfortunately, Jason's dice not so much, but FN hasn't rolled in yet, of course, so there's still the potential to do some Unkarring or some damage. Looks like Shane's definitely putting some hate on eUnkar there, though. He's only got 5 hit points left already.
Yeah, early start, too. I like the Inspection, too, because in case he did roll it, Hold Out Blast would just go right back into Jason's hand. That'd be really, really good.
For sure. And yeah, actually, I guess there's one on each side of the table. One thing that's kind of interesting, actually, I've seen people who have lots of money in an eUnkar deck at a point in time where they actually Imperial Inspection their own upgrade and then play it back out on FN to roll the die in again to get an extra die out of it. It's kind of interesting. It's pretty expensive, but
yeah, that is. It's a very interesting strategy with this eUnkar deck because I can only assume that in Shane's deck he's running Endless Ranks, but I'm curious to see if this is going to be more weapons focused from Jason's eUnkar deck or if it's going to be more Crime Lord-esque, but it's proving to shape up more weapons based, so I guess we'll just have to see what else he has. I can't quite see his hand there, but it's going to be interesting to see what he pulls out, especially if Unkar gets killed early.
After this Unkar FN First Order Trooper deck won the European Championships, I think that a lot of people have been trying that list specifically to see what they can do, and I actually ran it with some pretty good success myself.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. The list that I was thinking about myself was eUnkar, Death Trooper, and First Order Stormtrooper, and kind of doing a choke. Gosh, 2 more damage already on eUnkar, so I guess just sitting on 4 health now, and 9s is FN's really just untouched.
Yeah, eUnkar is getting beat up pretty badly, and I wonder who Jason's going for first. Oh, it looks like he's going for FN himself, so I guess if Shane can't get some redeploy weapons out there or whatnot, then I guess it's not a bad choice. Generally, in a deck that has a unique and several non-uniques that run Endless Ranks, I usually take out the unique character first because they can't be Endless Ranked back in.
Makes perfect sense, yeah, especially the ordering is really important there. I think the other interesting thing, too, is we haven't seen a lot of weapons from Shane yet. We've seen Vibroknife, which has been really good, but oh boy, that 2 for the money is just really unfortunate. That's a big pass for both of them.
For sure. Well, it wouldn't be too bad, except Shane had played his last card, so Unkar's ability was dead at that point. Shane does have out an Imperial Inspection and an Aftermath, so he's got some choke going and some resource generation on his side going as soon as Unkar starts dying. So it should be interesting. But he does run a lot of things like Promotion, DH-17, Imperial Discipline, so it's a lot of one-cost upgrades and obviously training. And in this rank, so his deck is built where FN is the decoy, as we saw in round 1. Holy smokes, look at that.
Oh boy, solid roll in. That's a really good roll.
Let's see if maybe Jason's got a best defense to get rid of one of them himself. Another thing he could have done, if he didn't have any die control in his hand, that because the Vibro Knife is going to be the kill there, he could have rolled in Unkar, tried to hit the Disrupt, and Imperial Inspection the Vibro Knife back to his hand, which would actually keep Unkar alive. He would have had a hit point remaining.
Definitely. Well, I saw too that leftmost card of his is best defense, so I definitely saw that in his hand, and he also has He Doesn't Like You, but I don't know why he wouldn't choose to use best defense either on FN and just eat the one damage because of the 2 shields, because it's not unblockable, or sorry, excuse me, 2 damage, but or on the Stormtrooper.
I mean, if nothing else, taking away 4 damage from the target that is about to die, which you kind of like alive in your deck, and putting it onto the First Order Trooper, or even onto FN himself, and only taking 1 damage because he got those shields, would be pretty fantastic. I'm surprised if he actually has best defense in there that he didn't use it. I mean, playing the salvage stand wasn't going to save Unkar, so it was kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just see. At least he was able to get a resource off of the Z6 baton, but hopefully he gets a little bit better roll there. That's good.
Not too bad, yeah. I mean, Unkar dying that early is really rough. I would have hoped to see some more die control out of Jason's hands there. I mean, that's what, it was 11 damage in the first 2 turns, and the second round isn't even half over yet.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, Shane's just rolling like a monster too. We have the Disrupt coming out, but unfortunately no Holdout Blaster anymore. But he's been rolling between what? He's rolling average about 4 damage a round, maybe a little bit even more.
6, actually, yeah.
6, yeah, just even more. He's just constantly finding the black range sides on those Death Troopers.
Well, it does help that 50% of their die sides are black range damage. That's for sure.
It's true, yeah.
It's interesting to see Shane going after the First Order Trooper rather than FN. But I guess the best defense is actually a lot less significant when you only have the one character that you want to keep alive left over. Unless you're getting rid of dice that would do more than 3 damage, there's not much point.
Yeah, unless the First Order Stormtrooper, I guess, was loaded up with upgrades or something, or maybe he's, I don't know, it's maybe a very odd way to play around endless ranks that I don't see, but at least it looks like, Jason's doing his own work against Shane's FN, but with the redeploy rifle, we'll just have to see how it goes. Oh, looks like he missed the dice too.
Oh, he did too. Yeah, you're right. Shane didn't roll on the F11D. Here comes a rocket launcher though. If Jason can get a Disrupt out, he can send that F11D back to Shane's hand, and then when FN dies, he's in a much worse position.
Yeah, boy. Well, hopefully he catches that. Oh, I think he just did.
There we go.
Yep.
A little bit of musical chairs on the dice there. So Jason has the unfortunate position here where he's got a rocket launcher and no money. So when he rolls in, he's got so many pay sides there, he might not be able to resolve them. But he's got that Rebel War Room sitting on the board there, so maybe if he can speed up his game there and get the rocket launcher die in the pool, resolve his other dice, he can smack Shane for some pretty hefty damage.
That's a good call, and honestly, one of my favorite cards right now, in my personal, I'd say top 10, is Imperial War Machine. 0 cost, lets you resolve a red dice with a cost for free. Phenomenal on rocket launcher, so I don't know if he's running that, but that would be very helpful.
Well, generally Jason wouldn't run something like that because his deck is supposed to be so rich that it doesn't matter. Shane would probably run something like that because if you can, I mean, you're basically trading a card for a resource, so it's sort of like a logistics kind of thing, except obviously logistics doesn't work in a deck that has not very many resource sides. So.
Gotcha. Oh boy, good call on the flank on the no cost too, because that was the one thing he could have used.
Yeah, those pay sides are looking pretty painful, but that looks better.
Yeah, definitely, especially if the first order stormtrooper so rarely delivers with those 2 blanks, so even better to meet a resource for that 3 damage.
Yeah, I think that if Jason can stall a little bit here and wait until Shane's rolled in both of his Death Troopers and then take out FN by claiming the battlefield to resolve that rocket launcher, then he'll be in pretty good shape.
That's excellent. I didn't even see that. That's going to be an easy way to. Oh, yeah, he wants to take it back.
I was just gonna say actually, there's. Oh, that's interesting. I was gonna say there's not much point in putting 1 damage into FN when the 3 damage will kill him. I mean, if you're gonna do anything with it, you might as well put it into one of the Death Troopers and get started on them.
If you want full value, yeah, for sure.
What I find kind of interesting is, you know, if Jason did 1 damage to one of the Death Troopers, a lot of the time just one simple damage will make it so that your opponent says, okay, that's the one that he's going for, so I'm going to put my upgrades on this guy. And, you know, sometimes just putting 1 damage on a guy and then switching after the 1 is enough to really mess up some people's plans.
It's a good strategy, and it's funny, too, because 1 damage does make a difference. Like, with the card Willpower,
oh, for sure.
move 1 damage, yeah, you know, it can really have a good effect. And this Death Trooper 9's list starts at 31
Ooh.
health. Oh boy, that 4.
Yeah, doubt on the rocket launcher is really rough when your opponent has a resource.
Jeez, he could even save it too, and like you were saying, just claim.
Interesting. Well, he has to resolve it, right? Because of doubt.
Oh, of course, that's right.
But it was interesting because his choice now is, okay, do I kill FN and then have that F11D redeploy and come in, or do I put it into the Death Trooper and just try to kill FN next round? And it looks like he's opted for the second option there.
More sides there. I wonder, I don't know if Shane got his money for Aftermath for eUnkar being defeated, but I hope so.
I believe he did, yeah. And that's actually one of the reasons why Jason might have not taken out FN this round, but I mean, I don't think that 1 resource is going to make much of a difference right now, whereas 3 may make a bigger difference next round. So we'll see.
Ooh. Good reroll there.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be FN versus the world shortly.
And especially with endless ranks, I don't know if Jason's expecting that or not from this list, but the 1 shield on 9s gives him at least a little bit more time to buy for endless ranks. So that'll be real interesting if he can, you know, manage to afford one in the mid to late game.
For sure. I have a feeling that the rocket launcher and the Z6 are going to laugh at that shield when they roll out, though. We'll see.
Especially with the rocket launcher special too, like that would be, you know, the mini thermal detonator here, or red thermal detonator anyway. So that would be excellent if he could line himself up into that.
Yeah, definitely. I was using that in one of my games in this tournament as a mini thermal myself against I think it was a 4-character list. So I was just picking the 2 non-red guys and nailing them for 2 every time I could.
Makes sense. Boy, bummer that he didn't get something else on that flamethrower. Finding that 4 would have been excellent.
Yeah, it's pretty painful to override a Z6 though. I mean, I guess the first order trooper is dying now, so that the redeploy is kind of irrelevant, but it's such a good die.
Oh my goodness, double blanks. That is the nightmare when you see the Z6 roll in.
It happens a lot more than you'd think.
Okay, I guess Jason's got more weapons coming out. That's good for him. He needs it. Now, is he going to aim that? I guess he's just going to keep going after 9s. He's sitting on only 1 health, so if he can get a good roll in, at least pick up another 1 on the Vibro Knife, maybe some rocket launcher special, that'd be the key.
Yeah, the Vibro Knife would definitely be ideal here to maximize everything. But of course, see, I would say you wouldn't want to kill him yet because of the redeploy, but Shane hasn't even rolled in FN yet, so definitely killing him is good. But of course, then the Z6 and the F11 get redeployed, which is pretty brutal.
Especially to a fresh Death Trooper too, which is a huge problem.
I'll pick up the Vibro Knife.
Ooh.
And the Vibro Knife goes back to Jason's hand from the looks of it here.
Inspection, I'll pick up the Vibro Knife.
Yep, and it just goes right out of the pool.
Well, luckily that 2 melee on the flamethrower will do the same job.
Yeah, definitely. Just what didn't insured it because of the shield.
Yeah, definitely.
So in this list, who would you go for if you were Shane? Would you believe that going after eUnkar was the correct play, or would you have gone after Nines, assuming it was a weapon-heavy deck?
Well, Jason got an Imperial Inspection early and a Salvage Stand relatively early. And I know with Shane's list, I mean, the Z6 is probably the only upgrade he has that doesn't cost 2 or less. So I think it's definitely the right call for him to kill eUnkar first. I mean, if you can burst him down like that, he died in 2 rounds. You know, you're getting rid of like all these. One of the things that the eUnkar FN FO deck relies upon is going, okay, oh damn, I rolled in a 3 melee but I don't have a dollar right now, so let me just use eUnkar's ability. I'll turn that. He's, you know, turning that scrap into something valuable.
Definitely, yeah. You at least get an advantage out of the value, and already the 4 damage coming out from the special and the 2 melee from the Z6 to the First Order Stormtrooper, he's down, so now best defense is really going to be near useless. I was really disappointed that he didn't take advantage of it earlier, but unless he can find a really good way to manipulate that, it's going to be a difficult card right now.
For sure, yeah. And of course, Shane does run best defense, although he's running at hit points rather quickly. But, you know, if the bottom Death Trooper is about to die and you can put 3 damage on the top Death Trooper to keep him alive, then it works out.
Especially if you can remove the God roll would be the 4 on the rocket launcher and 4 on flamethrower. If you can remove those, you're instantly going to make your value back.
For sure, yeah. It looks like Jason did a little take back there, and Shane's letting him do it. So he's resolving the 1 range damage first. I'm guessing that Jason realized that Shane's got so much stuff to do left that he can do the 1 range damage and then claim to save the resource and do the rocket launcher special there. And that's what he just did there.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna hopefully he gets the sees the reroll on the Z6 baton, but it's showing a big blank right now. But at least he's got the +1 melee.
Yeah, it looks like Jason claimed, and so Shane would have had to probably pass on his opportunity to do that since then.
Mm-hmm.
And with that Z6 die out there, it's actually kind of interesting because Shane could leave the +1 melee alone on the promotion and see if he can connect it with something.
Looks like he's almost mind tricking his own dice pool to see how he's gonna re-roll.
Yeah, kind of. I got the range damage, that's for sure. So Shane's got 2 cards left in his hand, so he can definitely make something out of this. And I mean, even that, like with the range damage showing, re-rolling the F11 is actually a pretty good choice, unless Shane is trying to save up for something, because even the special effectively is just 2 damage at this point. It's not like Jason can spread it to his advantage. So.
Oh, there goes the best defense, but I was thinking the same thing, that the only reason you wouldn't re-roll that resource is if you were really hanging on to endless ranks.
Yeah. But, wow.
Oh my goodness.
He should check his die to see how many blanks are on it there. Jeez, that was like 5 rolls, and he got blanks on all of them, I think.
Yeah, for real. Interesting. I don't know how air superiority would be in that list, but I haven't seen it at my local yet. Have you seen it run to any success?
Well, I mean, if you're just going, I want to build a deck that has the most hit points I can possibly get, then take your 31 hit point list or 51 hit points with 2 endless ranks and add a couple of air superiorities and make it 57 hit points or so. I mean, if that's your philosophy, then hey, it fits.
Yeah, that's great. You just gotta watch out for Vibroknife because it's just everywhere. I mean, I'm running it in the Luke Maz list, and it is game-breakingly good.
Yeah, well, that's what Imperial Inspection's for, though.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can put that. Oh boy, blank. That's a bummer.
Although I do have to say, in Shane's list, there are not a lot of disrupt sides. I mean, it's basically just from what I've seen, it's pretty much, I think it's just the Death Trooper dice. They're probably going to be the ones that are around the longest, but it's a 1 and 6 on 2 dice in the entire deck, basically. I suppose you could call it 4 dice if you include 2 copies of training or something like that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I was running. Boy, that's a bummer. He keeps finding the resource on rocket launcher, but at least Shane's finding some damage.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing I was thinking about too with Imperial Inspection, I really enjoy it in a Grievous list because then it makes 4 of your sides relevant versus just 3. So you have a little bit more of a 50-50. So I can see why he would just have it in there, just kind of as a splash card, so that every Death Trooper side is relevant.
Sure. It's also free, which plays to the strengths or the weaknesses of the Death Trooper list, not having those resource sides.
Definitely. Oh my goodness.
So you got that Vibro Knife got bounced back again. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and then he came up with more blanks, unfortunately. I tell you, if Shane was running Feel Your Anger, he could use one every single round.
For sure, yeah. I'm actually wondering why Jason overwrote the flamethrower with the flamethrower, as opposed to... I don't remember if the Vibro Knife was out there or not, but being able to overwrite the flamethrower on the Vibro Knife there would make sure that he doesn't get inspected anymore.
The irony of Imperials inspecting Imperials.
For sure, yeah. And what's interesting to me is that Unkar does most of the inspecting, and he's not even an Imperial. So, does he remember it? There he is. Okay, the disrupt side on the flamethrower came up. And what do you get rid of? Probably the F11D, I would say.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, you don't want to give him another ambush, but you still want him to get the resources off the table.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you basically just turn that into 2 disrupt, essentially, in a deck that can't afford to be disrupted much, so that works out.
Definitely, that was a good flank, too. Really good flank. Sometimes you don't think to use it on one character, but that's really effective when you can think outside the box on your active character list.
For sure. I mean, even if you're running a 2-character list, with all the Poe Maz in there, if you can guarantee that you can get rid of Poe die, because they're probably going to have the battlefield, they're probably going to roll on Poe first action, and then you'll have 2 ready characters versus one of theirs, and you can flank it. And it comes as a surprise to a lot of people too.
I guess they're just deciding. Oh, he's just going to discard a reroll. He didn't actually resolve the discard for the Vibro Knife.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he's looking to do right now. He needs to get as much damage out there as he can. And of course, Shane's got that one Death Trooper that is almost dead. Has, once again, another redeploy item on there, so it's definitely doing some work.
But the baton having the redeploy is just fantastic. And boy, he's really connecting with the damage right now.
And unfortunately for Jason, he can't use the 3 damage showing out there to take away the guy that's got all the troublesome dice in there.
Boy, yeah, not what he's looking for, but yeah, at least he gets the salvage stand, so that denies him the 3, yeah.
Yeah, I've done that sometimes when you're desperate and you want to try to save a bit of damage. Just re-roll something and try to hit that resource and make that 3-for-1 useless.
Okay, yeah, he just keeps finding damage on the Death Trooper, which is good. Those are really strong base sides, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jason only has 6 hit points left. And, oh, of course, the Rebel War Room. Make that 3 hit points left.
Oh, that's right. I was going, hey, wait a minute, how do you do that? But, yeah, totally.
So it's 3 to 8 right now. They're both decked to the 9s. That's probably not a good choice of words right now, but...
Yeah. At least he got his resource for Aftermath. Not that he had missed it earlier, but that's really going to help him if he can just stay alive long enough for Endless Ranks.
And he's definitely, basically he's got so much stuff on him that he can overwrite for pretty cheap to upgrade, a promotion to something better or a hold-up blaster to something better. If he's got another Z6, I wouldn't hesitate to put that one in.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, if this is me, do what Shane's doing, roll in, pray for that 3, and then just claim. Ooh.
That Z6 is not doing much work for him. And there's that world's most expensive Vibro Knife once again. It's like the 3rd time he's had it returned to his hand now.
Gosh, at least.
I mean, Jason's got the money to put it back up, but with a rocket launcher and a flamethrower and FN's die all having pace sides, it's kind of dangerous. And one thing I've noticed here is that both players forgot to ready all of their supports there, so make sure that you take a couple seconds to do that between rounds, because there could be times where your opponent doesn't remember you, remembers you having used it for the round already, and you just get yourself in trouble.
Certainly, yeah. And it's a board state thing too. Destiny's a fun game. In other games, it may be kind of a card played thing. It is with Vader because it's a May, but just where the board state needs to be at is where you want to try and keep it. For
sure, yeah. There's some players in my meta that have trouble maintaining a readable board state, and it pains me myself. That was quite the reroll from Shane there. That is not looking good for Jason. He's got 2 ways to do 3 damage to him there.
You hit a 5 on it.
World's second most expensive vibro knife.
There you go. Not sure what he's expected to do with that, but he's got the ambush action anyway, so it looks like he's rolling in FN too little too late. He could theoretically put out 8 damage, but not with that roll and not with 1 action left.
No.
So there we go. Shane took it FN there, looks like. And that's the GG. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks again, Austin, for coming on.
It was my pleasure.
And we'll have the next round coming out in a few days. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Starkiller Base.